Hi, it's Anastasia with Art Marketing News, and today I'm talking with Larissa Uredi. And Larissa is not only an artist, but she's also a digital strategist. And I wanted her to talk to you today about some of the mistakes artists are doing online. So, Larissa, could you explain to us first what is a digital strategist?
Sure. So a digital strategist is someone who can help you navigate the digital landscape so that you understand, whether you should be spending money on Facebook or other kind of advertising, collateral, when you need a website, how to get it built, all those kinds of elements, because that landscape is so large and can be really overwhelming. And so we just sort of help you navigate all the different tools and processes that are out there to make it most effective for your business.
Awesome. I would say as an artist, I get easily overwhelmed with all the business sides of things. So that's where you come in handy. And
Yes.
she's watched
Digital
me,
shaman.
right? For years, Larissa's the kind of my go-to person whenever I start to melt down and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So let's talk a little bit about how to drive traffic to your website. We've been talking on my blog a little bit about the importance of having your own website. Can you tell us the importance of that and maybe how we would drive traffic to the website a little bit?
Yeah, so one of the big keywords, that has been around forever, but that is really, I think, something that artists tend to overlook is this concept of SEO, right? Which is search engine optimization. And that term has now become this big umbrella to mean all sorts of things, right? Everything from, site traffic up to domain authority and all this kind of stuff that what does any of that even mean? And so, yeah, I think one of the important elements of having a website, right, first off, is that it legitimizes you. It takes you out of, sort of that crafter maker space and elevates you to that of a business. And I think that's really important if you're trying to, create a full, career out of being an artist. And so, yeah, we can get into kind of the nitty gritty of, what SEO is and all of that.
I would say one of my biggest things when I talk to an artist and I ask them where I can find them, and they don't have a website, that's a huge, I'm like, oh, they're not really professional yet. I think it's really, really important for people to be able to find you no matter what your goal, whether you're trying to sell work, whether you're trying to get into galleries, you have to legitimize yourself with a website. So what's some tactics or elements that we can add to our website or do online to drive traffic to our website? So a little more into that search engine optimization.
So one of the key factors is this thing called domain authority. And while it's a little bit of voodoo, straight up, it is an actual number that Google and Moz and all these other, ranking authorities on the internet came together and said, okay, each domain has a number that it's associated with, and the higher the number out of a scale from 0 to 100, the more authentic and real and legitimate the business is. So if you go look at things like Wikipedia or Etsy.com or some of these other places, they've got a really high number, right? 80, 90, 100 if you're Google, of course, right, out of their domain authority. So for the little guy or for the beginning businesses, it's something that you need to start thinking about early and often because it's something that builds over time, right? So some of the ways that we can do that is through good content. So things like blogging, video, regular updates to your, to your images, your gallery, your shop, whatever that is, right? Because ultimately at the end of the day, the internet runs on words. And if you don't have words on your website that are dynamic and changing, then Google just sort of thinks that, you're not really doing stuff, right? And, something that we hear a lot is, I don't have anything to talk about. I don't know what to say, and it's like, I think you have to kind of sit down and interview yourself every 30 to 45 days and say, what is new with me, right? What struggles am I going through? What is happening? And then find a way to relate that to your customer.
Awesome. Let's talk about keywords for a second. And I know I'm not on Etsy anymore, but I used to be. And I was really struggling to get towards the top. And I deal with this on my website too. There's a lot of artists out there. Everybody's on the internet. How do I set myself apart? Or if somebody were to Google, my type of artwork, how do I get found? How do I get up on that first page of Google when they Google my name or my website?
Yeah. So there's a couple of approaches. And this stuff is not a quick fix, right? This is not overnight magic, snap your finger and you're going to be on the first page of Google. Right. Unfortunately, we all wish. Right? I do this for a living and I wish it was that easy. But so some of the places, ultimately what you're looking for, right, is keywords, right? You're hunting for keywords. And while Google did come up with some changes back in July, Ultimately, keywords are still kind of where it's at. And so, the question then becomes, how do you find good keywords, right? And separate yourself. So in addition to creating badass, awesome product, right? And art, which, that's a given.
Right.
You can take, I would take liberal use of Google Trends and figure out what is popular and trending right now.
And
is
that free?
It is free.
And where would they find that?
So you literally can go to google.com/trends, and it is an aggregate visual way to look at what is trending currently in nationwide. Globally, you can pick by country, like you can do all sorts of cool things, right? And then you can just start playing with both trends, either sorted by popularity, or you can start putting in your own search ideas, right? Your own topic ideas, right? Artisan jewelry, fine art painting, cute kittens, Thanksgiving, right? Whatever. And then it will pull all these really interesting, cool graphs that show you by state, by city, different times of day, different times of the year, what's been trending, right? And so then, the question is, okay, well, now what? So then you can take some of those topics and figure out how to either create content around them. If it fits for your art, how do you create some art around that? Or how do you relate that back to what people are already looking for?
Perfect.
So that's one piece. The other side of this, and this sort of touches on that, is beginning to really understand how to think like your customer, right? So I know that you shared a story with me about Etsy, where you're like, I was putting in keywords, that were related to what I was doing as opposed to what my customer was looking for, right? So, Mother's Day gifts for
Right.
mom, right? Or Friendsgiving gifts or whatever it is, right? Funny stuff. And so, I think, thinking like your customer is something that takes time, but as an example, like, boho bedroom decor, if you make really earthy, chic, kind of artistic creations that could go in someone's home, right? Whether that's painting, textiles, whatever, that would be a really good place to start understanding the psychology behind what your customer is looking for so that you can be there, right? And there's a name for this. It's called intent marketing. It's a rabbit hole. I highly recommend, if you have the mindset for it, to kind of get into it. But you're basically trying to anticipate what they're after.
Awesome.
And then, so all of this is useless if you don't track it.
And how would we track it?
So, so I just say know your analytics. Okay, so what does that mean? So part of the value of having your own website is that you get full control over watching your customer journey, right? So as someone lands on your website, you can see what pages they're going to. Google Analytics is free. It does take a little bit to get used to learn, but there are some really fascinating tabs that you can get a hold of. The behavior flow tab is one that I love, where you can really start to understand how people are moving through your site, right? And so you can see, oh, hey, I posted that thing on Facebook, and then someone came to my website, and then they did these 4 things. What can I learn about my customer and about the mindset that they're approaching my website with, so that I can now capitalize on some of that?
That's amazing. And really it is about kind of getting in your customer's head and seeing their behavior and how to use that. That's marketing. That's what it is. For those of you who find this absolutely fascinating but are a little intimidated, Larissa is offering a free PDF or worksheet that will help explain some of this and give some key tips. So at the end of this, I will attach a link that you can go get that PDF and contact her if you have any information or any questions or interested in working with her.
Yeah.
So anything
I
else
would love
to
to
add?
chat. No, I mean, I think, the PDF is going to be a great way to kind of work through some ideas. I've got some of the questions, that I ask my clients a lot and that I get asked a lot, that makes this seem more digestible, because, these are all really big topics, and it's totally natural to feel kind of overwhelmed and freaked out. But we'd love to chat. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks for interviewing with me, and thanks for adding a little more creativity. And now we're going to go create and gossip and let our ADD personalities bounce off each other and come up with lots more ideas. So have a great day. Keep creating. Bye, guys.